Can a trade for Trae Young solve the Miami Heat's problems? How much would they have to give up? How many assets can they possibly keep? All that and more, guys, in another episode of Miami Heat Talk. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe because we are pushing to 7,000 subscribers. Now that we got that out the way, hit the intro.
That is enough said.
Happy Memorial Monday, you guys. Your boy Ernest here. Back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Before we get started, you guys, thank y'all so much for the people that have been in my comments. I do apologize for not getting a video to you guys for the last couple of days. For those of you that don't know, I did suffer a little injury in my previous wrestling show a couple days ago. Jacked up my back pretty bad. Couldn't really move from bed. Wanted to just get some rest and relaxation, especially some family time with my wife and my kids, man. I needed it. So I do apologize for not getting anything, you guys. I just needed a moment off. But I'm back, and we're going to talk about Miami Heat basketball. I got a juicy topic for you guys. So let's go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure, because today we are talking about Trae Young. And the reason we're talking about Trae Young, you guys, I know things are dead right now. I get it. I know some people might be in the already rolling their eyes, being in the comments. But hey, look, we're going to talk about this because Bleacher Report posted something the other day, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Bleacher Report had a trade idea, and I thought would work for both parties between the Atlanta Hawks and the Miami Heat. Now, the Miami Heat would get Trae Young, which I like, but seems to be a little much. So I wanted to talk about it and see if this is a possibility, or maybe if we can finagle it a little bit, you know? So, like I said, Miami would get Trae Young, and in return, the Atlanta Hawks would receive the expiring contracts of Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, 3 young assets in Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic, and Pelle Larsson, and 2 first-round draft picks. This first-round draft pick, which would be pick 20, and then the 2030 first-round draft pick. And then Bleacher Report, they posted the photo, which was in the thumbnail that I added, which I thought that was really interesting, because you would have a very strong starting lineup, which we see in today's NBA is obviously a good thing to have. You'd have Trae Young starting at point guard, Tyler Hero starting at the 2. You'd have Andrew Wiggins starting at the small forward position, with Bam Adebayo starting at the power forward position, and Kel'el Ware starting as your center. So that's a pretty dope starting lineup, if you ask me. That is a starting lineup, in my opinion, can contend. With the weak Eastern Conference we're going to have next season, barring any big trades or moves, but I'm pretty sure that Giannis is headed out west. Kevin Durant might stay in Phoenix. He might get traded to another team. I think the Miami Heat is still a realistic option for Kevin Durant. But when you look at the Atlanta Hawks situation, you guys, I mean, they're kind of in the same boat that we are in a way. You know, they've been a play-in team the last few years, but they haven't had the success that we've had. Most of the times, they're losing to us. You know, I know in 2023, they beat us, you know, in the first play-in game, but who went to the NBA Finals? It wasn't the Atlanta Hawks. It was the Miami Heat. But, you know, I'm sure the Hawks are looking at it, especially with the emergence of Dyson Daniels. You know, you're looking at this team, especially that they have expiring contracts with Clint Capella and Karis LeVert. They might be looking at the next direction, because you look at the current players that they have under contract. You know, they have Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, George Niang, Terrence Mann, Zachary Richard, their former first-round draft pick. They got Okongwu. This is a team that you're looking at to build for the future, to rebuild. And when you put Trae Young in that mix, yeah, it makes them a play-in team. But if you get Trae Young out and you're able to get some assets, now you're rebuilding. Now, I will say this. You look at Trae Young's numbers, you guys, I mean, he solves a lot of the problems that the Miami Heat has. You know, this season he played 76 games, very doable, 36 minutes a game. He 24 points a game. Did lead the NBA in assists, 11.6 assists per game, 1.2 steals, shooting 41% from the field. Not really the best. 34% from the three-point line, 87% from the free throw line. You know what you get with Trae Young, man. It's offense. It's offense. And like I've been saying a lot, you guys, that's what this Miami Heat team need to build around. You need to put somebody with Tyler Hero that can be a proficient scorer and that can help you so teams don't just collapse on Tyler. So the only problem with this trade, I would say, you guys, is having Tyler Hero and Trae Young as your starting backcourt does make you weak defensively. You're hoping you can pick that up with guys like Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, and Kel'el Ware starting, in the front court. But it does make you a little bit weak defensively. Now, you can retain Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell, like he's been doing this past season, has been your sixth man. You retain Davion Mitchell, you know that he's a defensive specialist. So this is something that you can have in your arsenal as well. I think if you retain Davion Mitchell, a trade for Trae Young makes it realistic because now you have a three-headed monster in the guard rotation with Davion Mitchell, Trae Young, and Tyler Hero, and you can even bring back Alec Burks. You know what Alec Burks provides in the offensive presence. So I think that four-man rotation in the guard position makes it good. And let's not forget, you also have Drew Smith, an elite defender as well. So yeah, having Trae Young and Tyler Hero on the same team might cause the same problems that Atlanta had when they had DeJounte Murray and Trae Young together. But I think the Heat can make up for that because you have elite defenders on this team. Guys like Davion Mitchell, if you bring him back, Drew Smith, Haywood Highsmith. You have one of the best defenders in the NBA in Bam Adebayo. Andrew Wiggins, who's pretty good defensively himself. And let's not forget Kel'el Ware, who's probably going to be one of the best rim protectors in the NBA moving forward. I think having these defenders with Trae Young and Tyler Hero, allowing them to free up and play their game is amazing. And let's not forget, you guys, Trae Young led the NBA in assists. That is definitely something you need on this team. You need a floor general point guard that can allow Tyler to move without the ball in his hand. Imagine the pick and roll games between Bam Adebayo and Trae Young, Kel'el Ware and Trae Young. Now, I will say, you guys, the assets, it's a little much. Terry Rozier and Duncan Robinson, bye, whatever. Now what are you really asking? Is Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic, Pelle Larsson, and the first round draft pick enough to roll your eyes to get an all-star, all-NBA ballot type of player like Trae Young? Trae Young does have 3 years, Trae Young currently, he's going to have 2 more years left in his contract. That is another thing. He will be expiring after 2026. So you may be giving up a little bit too much. But this kind of solves your situation that we've been talking about before. If it doesn't work, now you're going to have a lot of cap flexibility going into the 2026 offseason. So if you want to bring this guy back or bring someone else back, you'll have the flexibility to do so. But you'll be able to see what this team will look like. Look, guys, we know a change is needed. The Miami Heat are stuck in the middle. If you bring this team back, you know what you're going to have. A play-in team. You need to make a risk. You need to take a risk, and get a player that can help you win now. A player like a Trae Young, maybe a Kevin Durant, maybe someone else that becomes available. But this is the type of move you need to make in order to solve the problem that you have. You have no offense if Tyler Hero is being collapsed. You don't have a guy that you can go to consistently and say, win us this game if teams are collapsing against Tyler. You need another guy that can step up. And yes, even though I think the assets are a lot, maybe you don't have to give up one of these guys. Maybe you can keep a Nikola Jovic. But at the end of the day, you guys, if you're trying to trade for Trae Young and you're not trying to include Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, or Kel'el Ware, you're going to have to do a trade like this. Because you're going to have to sell Atlanta what they're getting. Right now, Atlanta has 2 first-round draft picks. They have the 13th and the 22nd pick. You give them the 20th pick, now you have 3 first-round draft picks this year. That's a great starting stone. A starting step for rebuilding a team. You're going to give them Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic, and Pelle Larsson. That is going to round out that team and give them something to build on. And then you're going to send them Terry Rozier and Duncan Robinson, who will be off their books after the 2026 season. And then you're giving them a 2030 first round draft pick, which I think is excessive. I'm okay with giving just one draft pick. Two, I don't think that's needed. I think, in my opinion, you guys, I'd be cool with a Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez, Pelle Larsson, and the 20th pick. If Atlanta would accept that, I'd be cool. I want to keep Jovic, and I want to keep that 2030 pick. That's what I prefer. But if this pick that Bleacher Report is suggesting goes out, I want to explain something numbers-wise, because I know a lot of people don't really do this. So let's talk numbers. Trae Young next season is making $45 million. Well, 46, because it's 45.9. So Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic, Pelle Larsson. That averages to about $51 to $52 million. The NBA's first apron is going up to $195 million. The Heat right now have $176 million in salary, and Atlanta has $170 million. So this trade works numbers-wise because it keeps the Miami Heat below the first apron. It even drops them lower. So now that the Heat, let's say if they make this trade, you bring back Davion Mitchell. You're going to have that $14 million mid-level exception that you can use like on a Steven Adams or a Gary Trent, something like that. You're going to bring back Haywood Highsmith. You're going to bring back Drew Smith. Let's say, you're also going to have a $5 million biannual mid-level exception. So this Miami Heat team, you're going to be able to build players around this potential starting five. And with the way the Eastern Conference is going next season, I like this roster. I'm all for this trade. If I see that the Heat make this specific trade that Bleacher Report announces, I'd be like, it's a little much, but I'm good with it. Because you're not including Tyler, you're not including Bam, you're not including Kel'el Ware. Those are your building blocks for the future if you want to build a contender now. Right now, this year. You got to build around those guys. Get a player that can be a number one around those guys. You need a 1A and a 1B with Tyler and this other guy rotating that slot. Bam is your number 3. Kel'el Ware is your defensive presence. Davion Mitchell as that pest 6-man, which he's proven he can do. Andrew Wiggins, who has championship experience and pedigree. And you have these dogs. I think it works. So Heat Nation, I want to hear from you. Do you think a trade for Trae Young solves the answer? I know a few of you think so. A few of you have been in my comments saying how much you love for Trae Young. So this video's for you. But I want to hear from the rest of the Heat Nation. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We're pushing to 7,000 subscribers. Feeling much better, you guys. Thank you so much for your positivity and your comments. I really appreciate y'all. And until next time, your boy Ernest out, and that